Welcome back, cereal fans. Today, I am apprehensively excited and nervous at the same time about today we're going to deal with Froot Loops, which is very, very mundane. No problem with that one. But today it's Scoops Froot Loops. And Scoops, if you're unaware, has a cooling sensation. It cools your mouth. So there's got to be some kind of an alcohol, some kind of a menthol coating into this. I don't know how they achieved it. I've scoured the ingredients. There is nothing there that chemically would cause this kind of a reaction. So they've hidden it within the natural and artificial flavors. However, the sensation is there. I don't know how it's going to play off. We're going to find out together here. So let's jump into it. So right away, we've got a really, really exciting box. I mean, I am so glad to see Toucan is prominent in here. It is Froot Loops. They have changed the O's from the normal O shapes into these spheres that we've got going on with the scoops. So I think these are supposed to be rainbow sherbet. So these are supposed to be ice cream scoops. So I hope that we get the sense that this is something a little bit different tasting than just our normal Froot Loops. But right away, everything about this speaks to me. I've got the mascot, I've got a logo, I've got it telling me what my flavor sense is. If anything, I wish maybe that we would have gotten a little bit more of this up here. But for me, man, this is a perfect 10. I get everything about it. They did a really, really bang-up job telling me about this. Now, the value of this one is not there. This one is an expensive cereal for a very tiny box. It's in that $5 range, so I can only give you a fabulous 6 for this one. I did not get this one on sale. Paid full price for this one. Opening bag smell. Let's get into it, and let's hope that we have something that smells fruity, sherbety, but not just Froot Loops, normal. So let's find out. All right, we open it up, and the spheres are very brilliantly colored, and they smell just like Froot Loops. Everything about it is 100% a Froot Loop. If you get deep in there, you smell that, I believe it is the corn blend. Yeah, I smell just a corn after a second, after it bleeds away from the fruit. So there's a little bit of the grain smell that lingers from it. And so I can only give you maybe an 8. There is a strong Froot Loop smell to start, but then it bleeds down and it just becomes the grain smell. The cereal color, it's really, really gorgeous. I can't fault them at all for what they accomplished here. So we've got all of our primary colors going. We've got the purple sphere. We've got the blue sphere. We've got a yellow. We have an orange. I mispronounced that. It's orange. I know. Green here. And they're supposed to be spheres. What they are is cylinders that puff up. So they kind of cheat on us and they round out the edges. So, you know, I would not necessarily call these spheres. These are more like canisters or something like that, or hamburger shapes, but they're supposed to be scoops of ice cream. So I get it. The color on them is really, really pretty. I can only give you a 9, however. They do not quite match the brilliance of the packaging. There is a sugar coating on them that dulls their color as well. These are the same exact colors that you get with Froot Loops, so I can only give you a 9. Unique cereal shapes. We've had these a million times. These are Cocoa Puffs. These are all the different brands. So this one is just a 5. It is nothing unique whatsoever about it. Let's find out about the Dry Crunch. Really strong caking going on. I mean, they just stick to your teeth as soon as you put them in. I'm not picking much up on the cooling sensation, really. Maybe there's a tanginess that's in the back of my mouth. Maybe it will be activated by the milk once it becomes liquid. Afterwards, the front of my tongue is a little bit numbing, almost like going to the dentist. So I get that. The Dry Crunch, it's not very good. It's a high-pitched crunch. It falls apart very quickly, and it sticks in your teeth. And in fact, it's just a big mush in my mouth right now. Feels like chewing gum is just floating, stuck into my teeth here. It's a letdown. Dry Crunch is only a 6. Uniqueness of taste. This tastes unique. Okay, I can give it to him because now as it just sets, I do get that numbing sensation that's going on in my mouth. That's very unique. First time I've had that sensation going into the aftertaste. That is a perfect 10. That's very unique. Taste matches the name. Well, I don't taste sherbet whatsoever. I do get the cooling sensation, so I am half and half on that one. But it tastes like Fruit Loops. There is nothing about this that reminds me of a cool sensation of a sherbet, the orange sherbet. God, there's so many great stories about that one. My parents used to get that one for me all the time. I was such a fool. Wouldn't go for ice cream. I would only eat orange sherbet growing up. I'm going to give you a 7 on that taste matching name. Let's see, Wet Crunch. All right, so for the rest of the way, let's go ahead and get ourselves a couple of bites. And then we will pour in just a little bit of milk into our bowl here to let it rest. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get a little bit more of the cooling sensation immediately and not the after effects. I feel much like you do when the dentist, you're like your tongue is like swollen. So I don't know about the cooling sensation as much as it is a numbing sensation. This may be a nice little buzz thing. If they could grind this up and snort, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. That would, don't even think about those kinds of things. All right. In the meantime, this is your chance to subscribe. If you don't have that in your agenda yet, put it on there. Let's get a subscription to my channel. It would be wonderful to have you a part of the community. Then you can just start communicating with me, telling me about your favorite dentist experiences and some of your nightmares. Have you had your wisdom teeth pulled out? I would love to find out about those. What was the first food that you ate coming out of your wisdom teeth being pulled or other tooth extractions going on? For me, it is always some kind of a milkshake. I gotta have some kind of a milkshake. And I know that's probably really bad. It probably festers and doesn't help the wound at all. They tell you, oh, just wait and drink liquids out of or don't drink liquids out of a straw. I'm like, whatever, you wouldn't have let me go if it was that, and you could fix it if it's messed up. But anyway, Wet Crunch time. Let's find out. Ooh, here we go. They seem like they're mushy. I will say that. And they are. They are a big pile of mush. There is a different taste. I will say that one. They did get a little bit closer to a sherbety type of sensation. I do smell a little bit more of that than I do of the Fruit Loops. Again, someone noted, if I only take one bite, I'm not too excited about this cereal. You're observant, and that is very true. That was a big hard pass on the mush that they just gave me. That's a 3 for the Wet Crunch. That was very disappointing. Let's find out about the overall joy. So on my overall joy, how I measure that is my normal heart rate is a 60. Anything above that 60 is going to be rewarded with a bonus point for every 5 heartbeats. So if we can get this up to an 85, say, you would get a perfect 10 on this one. If it's anything below that, we'll just scale it up and see where we're at. So it is an 87, and even though it is not deserving, it is a perfect 10 on the joy, and I'm sure that that's because there's drugs in this cereal, and it's just coursing through my veins and helping my heart accelerate. All right, regardless, this is a very average cereal entry. It's unique, I guess, but there's something very off-putting about it, and certainly the worst part about it is the mush. I cannot deal with that very much after you've added the milk. So it ends up with a 74. So this is Fruit Loops sherbet, rainbow sherbet scoops. I'm not sold on them. I'm not thinking they're a quality product. Hopefully this summer, maybe you'll get the chance and you can tell me what your thoughts are of it. All right, 74 for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Please go out and say hi to me in the cereal aisle. Have some breakfast tonight for dinner, and God bless your cereal. Bye-bye.